you going to read this again? No. I can go up here.
I'd like to call to order the regular council meeting, council chambers, August 3rd, 11, 7:35. And right now I'd like to ask for the opening prayer from Brother Corey Oliver from the LDS Church for our opening prayer.
Good evening. Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity which we have to gather here tonight at the Strathmore Town Council meeting. We're thankful for this land which we have to live in, for the freedoms which we enjoy here. We're thankful for this town and for the members of the community who strive to make it better, a better place to live. We are thankful for this council. And we ask at this time, Heavenly Father, that would be here at this council meeting to help us to decide the things which are best for this town. We ask, Heavenly Father, that would bless those who are here to present, that they may do so in a way that is concise and clear, that all may understand. We ask that thou would bless this town to grow in harmony and in love and in companionship one with another. We ask that thou would bless us to continue to strive to do those things which help to make this a better place to live and to be. We ask that thou would bless those who fight for our freedoms and for those things which we enjoy, that they may be watched over and protected at this time. We leave this meeting in thy hands in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you very much. There is no public hearing tonight. Any additions to the agenda?
I have nothing, Your Worship.
Councilor Rush?
I have nothing, Your Worship.
Councilor Best?
I have nothing, Your Worship.
Councilor Gill?
Nothing, Your Worship.
Administration?
Yes, Your Worship. Could we move item 8.5 up to 8.1? And can we also remove items 8.6 and 8.7 from the agenda?
Remove?
Yes, Your Worship. And then we have additional information for item 8.5, additional information for item 8.2, and the addition of 8.10, street sweeping contract, and under council invitations 12.5, is a request of council for support to attend the 3D World Championships in Austria.
I don't have a 12.4. Where's 12.5?
12.4.
That's additional information.
12.4 you said?
12.5.
It's on the second package.
Right after the charity golf tournament.
And Your Worship, that was a supplementary package.
Yeah. Okay. I would also like to bring up forward 8.4. Can we move that forward? Rather than stay here all night and listen to our board meeting.
So 8.4 to 8.2.
So we're moving up 8.4, and what else are we moving up?
8.5.
8.5. Thank you. Motion for, is that it?
Yes, Your Worship.
Thank you. Move for adoption.
I so move.
All in favor? Carried. Let's go right to 8.4, page 51. Mr. Howell, would you like to come forward, or you can sit right there, or we want to honor you tonight with being citizen of the month, global training. I'll just read a little story here. Global Training Center believes in activities of caring. Our community is an integral part of our family, and we are proud to support Strathmore and District as a business. Global contributes over $15 million to local community directly and and employs over 100 people. Our CEO and president are passionate about helping people and supporting their staff, initiatives, and causes that they may personally take on. They are eager to help out and contribute in any way they are able to. Some of the organizations that we have supported in the last couple of years are listed below, and there's about 15 of them. Two numbers to mention, but they are public information. Anywhere from supporting FCSS, Victim Services, Kids for Cancer, High School Rodeo, Relay from the Lions Club, Kids Club, Wheatland Kings, and it goes on Food Bank, Fire Department, and it goes on and on and on. They're good supporters of the community. And one of the things I was impressed about is that you're global. You're putting Strathmore on the map, and that really is a critical one. Plus all your good community stuff. So we're really impressed with you. Thank you very much. And we do have a plaque to give, I believe. Or is it here or?
Your Worship, we will have the plaque made up.
Okay. And thank you very much. We're really, really pleased with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just as our dedication to the community, Global's expanded this year again. We've just finished a $1.5 million expansion of our offices and shops in the community, as well as invested another $750,000 in a mobile unit as well. So we're here to stay for a long time.
Great stuff.
So thank you for your support.
You're welcome, and I want the public to know, just because they're out in and not located directly in Strathmore, they're still big supporters of Strathmore. I know there's a lot of longtime people here that are supporters of Strathmore, and I can name a lot of, but they will get their turn. But you people have been really, really impressed with that. I'm really impressed with the
Thank you. In a couple more years, we'll be annexed in.
Exactly. We'll just tell you eventually.
Yeah, perfect. We appreciate the honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
And bring forward then a word of inspection services. Please, Danny.
Your Worship. Basically what's happening is that our 3-month plus contract with the Davis Inspections is coming to an end, so we wanted to make sure that the transition to more of a longer-term situation was going to be done, so that's why we're bringing this item forward. We did send out a request for proposals. We received 2 proposals. One was, again, from Davis Inspection Services, and the other one was from Superior Safety Codes. At this point in time, the only inspections that we need for full-time are the gas, electrical, plumbing, due to the fact that we do now have a full-time building inspector. However, in cases of absence due to vacation, illness, or a potential conflict, we will also need to engage the inspection agency for that purpose. But again, it will be on a very limited and rare occasion that will happen. When we looked at the 2 proposals, there were 4 of us within the department, as well as our building safety codes inspector for building, looked at it and based it on various criteria. And the recommendation is that we award the contract to Davis Inspections for a 3-year term based on your revised fee schedule, which is part of your supplementary information. The fees pretty much have gone up by, I calculated, just under 5.8% in most cases, slightly lower in other cases, slightly higher, and mainly the electrical for new residential. The reason why is because usually what happens is that if a safety codes company does all of the inspections, the building tends to offset a lot of the lower costs for the other disciplines. And so because we are assuming the building code for the building inspections, they're only doing the smaller ones. So that's why they've asked a slight increase in the fees. And they're not that significant. 5.8% really, if you think about it, is sort of like GST. So that's our recommendation, is that the contract be awarded to Davis Inspection Services for a 3-year term commencing September 1st, 2011.
Question through the chair to Tammy. Are both these companies local? Are they both based in Strathmore? And is that part of the process as far as the tenure acceptance?
Neither one are actually located in Strathmore. There is an office for both in Calgary.
Okay, and then you said there was a committee that recommended this. Were there reasons why one was chosen over the other, or anything?
Basically, we had, I didn't think this question was going to be.
Oh, sorry.
That's right. We actually had approximately 9 items, and we did an allocation of a sort of a 10-15 point system, and so we based it on that, as well as past history, as well as comfort level with the individuals that would be doing the inspections. So it was fairly comprehensive. It wasn't necessarily just price. It wasn't just a couple of other things, but we had to take a look at a broader range of issues. One of the other items that was important to us was the availability of the inspectors to people who needed to contact them, be it the town or even the people who are asking for the inspections. So that was one of the criteria as well.
Okay, the other question I had that you just mentioned was you mentioned the phrase comfort level with one over the other. Can you elaborate on that at all?
I think what we did was we looked at the relationship of some of the inspectors in the past. We did have some concerns with some inspectors that one or both were proposing. So that was part of the criteria.
Counselor.
Through the chair, is Davis presently doing some work for us as a result of Permit Pro going out of business? Was that not who we took as an interim permit company?
That is correct. Davis is currently doing the inspection services for us right now.
So this would ensure some continuity as well in regards to whatever files they're working on at this time.
Yes, there is, but they also were going to propose that no additional fees would be incurred with respect to ones that were opened during the APP or innovative tenure.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Best, do you have something?
No, I've read this over and I'm quite okay with it actually.
Counselor Rocky?
No, I'm good with it.
The only question I have, what's the split? Like, the bill is $100, if the inspection service is $100. I understand that the other company was going to do it for 50/50, and this is 60/40, is it?
If it's building, if they have to do the building, it will be 50/50. But for all the other disciplines, it will be 60/40, but we only have to submit 50% of the fees up front. And then when let's say if it's for an electrical permit, once it's closed, then we submit the remaining 50% of the fees to them. So 60/40 initially, so $60, just for simplicity's sake, if it's $100, $60 will go to Davis, but only $30 of that will go to them immediately once the permit has been opened. Finally, when they're done that final inspection, then they receive that other $30.
But the other company was going to do 50/50 straight through, right?
No, not. They were proposing more of a 55/45.
And just for the record, you look into, and it may not sound that significant, but I know that you're saying they're stationed in Calgary, but it seems to me that there's one of the companies that has their people living here. Do they both have people living here?
I didn't look at, I know one of them has one individual living here, yes.
And to me, that would be part. The reason we're being so cautious here, but we seem to have made a few mistakes on some of our yeses on bids, so we want to be sure that it's the right one. And I don't mean that disrespectfully to you or council, it's just that we want to be right. You know, I just want to be right. So, any other questions? I'd be looking for a recommendation.
Your Worship, I move that council approve the proposal from Davis Inspections for a 3-year contract for safety code inspection services and allow the chief administrative officer or his designate to sign the contract on behalf of the town.
You all heard the motion. I just want to comment that we have to trust our administration that they're giving us the right information, and I'm sure you are. We've got enough answers from you, so I think we have to trust them. That's why we have administration to do the dirty work. You all heard the motion. All in favor? Carried. Opposed? One opposed. Thank you. Now, finally, 4.1, adoption of the July 22 minutes. Page 5.
I move that council adopt the July 20th, 2011 committee of the whole meeting minutes as presented.
You all heard the motion? All in favor? Carried. 4.2, July 20th minutes.
I would move the council adopt the July 20th, 2011 committee of the whole meeting minutes with amendments.
You all heard the motion. All in favor? Carried. 5, donation to the youth club of Strathmore. Page 27.
Your Worship, on behalf of the town of Strathmore, on July 1st, 2011 at the Canada Day celebrations, Councillor Sobel and myself and the fire chief took part in the dunk tank exhibition where we hit the water very many times. And each time I said was like the first time for me because I'm not a water person. We also had with this dunk tank that the proceeds would go towards the Youth Club of Strathmore. And we have here with us a presentation for the Youth Club. We have $186.30 from the dunk tank. The money's dried out by now. And we also have a $5,000 grant to get the Youth Club up and running in their efforts to renovate and have the Youth Club being open for the youth of Strathmore. So I would like to present this check for this amount of money, $5,000 grant, and the $186.30 to Pastor Gilbert.
Thank you very much. We want to express our appreciation for everything the town has been doing. It's been wonderful. The building is being looked at and inspected, or estimated. So hopefully, when some of those repairs come through, it'll be a wonderful place. And we're really hopeful that this is a wonderful start. So thank you very much for your participation.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for all your efforts.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah. 5.2, President of the proceeds of Canada Day cake. Councillor, is that you?
Yes,
Oh.
it is. Is there someone from the food bank?
Right here.
Here. Oh, hi, how are you? You have a seat for a second. Your Worship, also on July 1st, the annual cake auction was conducted by members of council, and it was a good year. We even squeezed $400 out of the mayor for one of the cakes. Historically, we have wanted to donate this money to the food bank, and there's no reason to change that this year. We think it's a marvelous organization, and on behalf of council, I'd like to present you with a check for $2,450, which was the proceeds of the cake auction. So, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Fuel, I just want to interrupt you. Since you had the floor here a minute ago, I forgot to ask you what your, maybe this had something to do with being dunked a lot. Your 94-year-old grandmother had said when you went and visited her. Don't be shy, tell us the whole story.
Tell you how
Yeah.
Why, Your Honor, would you do this?
I just thought I'd bring it up.
My wife's 98-year-old grandmother is in the hospital struggling with some health issues, and we went to see her, and she pointed out she's had some problems with clarity, and thought because she's on a lot of medications due to a brain tumor. But she did happen to mention that I put on a lot of weight. So, Councillor, Your Worship, thanks for humiliating me in front of everybody.
I don't, there's nothing matter with that clarity thought. I thought you
Is that because you retained water?
Yeah, I think it's a glandular condition. I think this all goes back to the butter comment I made about the mayor of the swimming pool. So it's come back, payback for something not good.
Thank you very much. I knew I did it sooner or later.
Yeah, you did.
Old business, Calgary Regional Partnership Transportation Committee, page 35.
Your Worship, I think that's my matter, as Council is aware, I've been a member of the Calgary Regional Partnership Transportation Committee for close to 3 years. My mandate was to get Strathmore more in line with our neighboring communities, with what our neighboring communities were doing with transportation needs and initiatives. This plan was reaffirmed by Council on November the 17th when we approved future involvement in the transportation initiative. This in turn led to approval of funds for a feasibility study on both December 15th and once again on February 16th. On July 20th, however, Council voted to postpone the feasibility study, which was the next step in the effort to ascertain what Strathmore needed in regards to transportation needs. As such, my position on the Transportation Committee is rather redundant, and I respectfully request that I be removed from that committee, and I move that Councillor Sobel be removed from the Calgary Regional Partnership Transportation Committee.
Colin, heard the motion. Any further discussion or any questions?
Through the chair, just to comment, I feel badly about that. It was an item that was budgeted and approved by us, and then we turned around and voted it down. I feel badly about it, and I'd like to apologize to Councillor Sobel. You did a lot of work, and then we kind of just turned around and went away from all your work and recommendations. And you were the one who was on the committee for the past 3 or 4 years, so to me it felt wrong because we had approved it, we had accepted your recommendations, and then we turned against it. So I apologize for that.
But in the same tone, I mean, these things happen in light of that we're trying to save money for the budget. I know that there's all kinds of argument. I'm not going to get into it tonight, but you know, we're all big boys here. Things like that happen. Any further discussion?
Your Worship, we didn't exactly. Well, I know we did in a way vote it down. We more or less put it off for 1 year. Did we not?
That's what I was saying, but it can be started up again. Well, maybe not, but anyway, it's been done, and y'all heard the motion. All in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Eight, 1, page 39. Chuck, come forward, please.
Good evening, Your Worship, Councilors. In case you've not been made acquainted, this is Steve Bracely, the operations manager from Strathmore. We've met before, huh? All right. So, in case you've not been made aware, in the initial design of the wastewater treatment plant, the sludge bins, biosolid bins, were designed to be loaded in the building to accommodate loading and unloading of the bins in an enclosed setting, keeping the biosolids from freezing temperatures. Smaller bins were utilized in this process and being stored on site once the bins had been loaded. This operation was utilized to maximize logistics in an effort to transport multiple bins to reduce costs, operational costs. The downfall to this operation was that it created redundancy in the design as the biosolids froze in the bins on site during winter months regardless of the design. Further to that, the town of Strathmore's project steering team along with Epcor Water Services have been working together to create a solution to maximize productivity and reduce these costs. The loading area has been excavated in an effort to speed the loading and unloading of the bins, along with creating a safe work site by attempting to avoid interference with existing overhead power lines during hoisting of delivery equipment. All these efforts have been fruitless, as the specialized equipment needed to load the bins remains in close proximity to the power lines during loading and unloading. Fortis has been contacted to provide feedback related to proximity to the lines and has stated that hoisting equipment should be avoided in the area to reduce risk of electrocution. Just to add lib here a little bit as well, during the initial design, we had discussions with EPCOR and the different engineering consultants while we were working on this design before we'd even broken ground. And one of the discussions was in talking to different transport companies that their thoughts were that it should be loaded inside and taken to site immediately to avoid freezing. Unfortunately, logistics costs and transport costs and transport time created some redundancy in that because during the transport period, the biosolids do freeze. But what we've learned now in dealing with EPCOR is that our destination in Penhold has a facility that can actually warm these bins for a period of time. So it will come out of the bins a lot easier. So the transport costs will reduce, obviously, and we'll be able to load the bins outside instead of inside with larger bins. At this point, I think I'd like to pass the hat over to Steve here to comment further on it.
Yeah, sure. Your Worship, Council. The proposal is to purchase and install an auger extension for the existing biosolids centrifuge at the wastewater plant. The auger extension will essentially sit underneath the existing auger and auger out the door to what I'm going to say is a 30-ton end dump unit, which will allow us to essentially haul 30 tons at a time. As we all know, biosolids is on the map, and it's a significant cost for us all. And we've been working with the administration and a number of parties trying to figure out the best way to decrease costs and at the same time logistically and safety, with safety being a factor because of the overhead power line, come up with a best solution. As Chuck said, this project has always been on the radar as a possibility as an upgrade after the completion of the wastewater plant. There was a number of factors at the time during the design phase that were a little unknown, such as the amount of biosolids we'd be producing. Each facility, based on the type of wastewater that comes into the plant, produces a different number of biosolids. One of the other things during design phase, where it would be going, which we all know is a huge problem. Whom would be hauling, and what percent wetness would our centrifuge be able to put out for biosolids, especially during winter months when freezing takes place. During our current setup right now, we're hauling an average of 9 tons per bin, which we're basically hauling 4 days a week. We're putting out right now where the wastewater plant is currently, we're centrifuging approximately 36 tons of biosolids on a weekly basis. By putting this auger extension in and using an end dump trailer outside the building, that's going to essentially allow us to haul 30 tons at a time, opposed to 9 tons at a time, which is going to significantly reduce hauling costs. Obviously, tippage stays the same, but during the cost analysis, it's going to reduce costs significantly, and the town will see an almost immediate savings over the next small time period.
The one question I want this recorded is how you can assure us that in the 20, 30, 40 below weather that this is not going to freeze on us. That one I have a hard time with.
Well, the thing that we're battling with right now is even the fact that we're using 9-ton bins, using the smaller bins, logistically, they're sitting outside anyways. So the problem is even though we're using small bins, we just made it through this past winter. I believe during the tour of the wastewater facility, you guys saw a bin out back by the lagoons. They were sitting there in the -40 anyways. And it wasn't really an issue where...
Well, I mean the auger part, the equipment part, that's going to freeze on it.
Nope, it gets heat traced. I'm from Northern Ontario. Every wastewater facility a lot of wastewater facilities that I've had experience with do auger outside for...
Okay, as long as you got it figured out, that's on.
Yeah. As I said, once the biosolids is in the bin,
we made it through. It's my first Alberta winter, so it was pretty cold from what I could see. And we made it through pretty darn good, considering we were having biosolids outside as it was. So, as well as the place we're taking the biosolids currently up to Strickland Farms in Penhold, they have a heating facility, essentially a barn, some big heating units where we back the trailer up into it, and it sits there for half an hour, heats, and it basically comes out of the trailer as big ice cube. There's another township that Epcor is looking after that goes to Penhold using an end dump trailer, and they had no problems throughout the winter time. So.
Your worship.
Yes.
Was it Steve?
Yes.
Yeah, Steve. You're allowed to move 30 tons. That's about 60,000 pounds, isn't it? You're allowed to move that on the highway?
Yep, the trail, well, I've been assured by the haulers that we've gone out and during our cost analysis and got quotes, but I've been assured that it's not an issue.
Lower capital is 80,000.
Was it?
Yeah.
So you're saying you generate about 36 tons a week of this stuff?
Correct.
So we would only be running.
You'd essentially be running once every 4 days, or
instead of running 4 days a week.
yeah, that's essentially it. So.
Cut our costs on significantly.
It will. During the I've been working with Jesse Parker and Chuck.
What is our cost going to Penhold now? Do you know that number?
We're tonnage-wise, we're paying approximately $120 a ton. By putting in this centrifuge, we're going to see an immediate cost savings, reducing that down just under $90 a ton.
I'm sorry, 90?
90. So that's a $30 a ton reduction, which is pretty significant considering the amount that we're putting out.
Officer Sobel, you have a
Well,
question?
I was looking for a definition of significant, and I just got it.
So
You're looking at a 25% savings by doing this.
Pretty much, yes.
Councillor Best?
I have a few things, Your Worship. I guess the first thing that popped into my head is when we first did this, the power lines were there, correct?
Correct.
How could we screw this up and with by not knowing that we were going to run into problems with power lines then?
Well, there was different options available, and I don't know if Chuck, maybe you want to speak to this, but at the time, there was talk of we may be putting in a loading dock, which would essentially not have us raising the trailer up to pull and put the bins back in to the building. And anyone who has toured the facility, and if you haven't, I encourage you to come over to get a tour. Right now, it's a very confined space. So when the trailers drop off and pick up the trailers, they basically essentially have to raise their boom, and there's a power line there. Now, the reason the loading dock couldn't go in is because there's some piping underground that we essentially thought that we could get down low enough to, but with the TWAS tank, which is a sludge tank, which is under the ground as well, we're coming too close to all of that piping. We did lower grade by approximately a meter to try to avoid this situation.
So again, these are problems that have always been there that were just missed?
No, well, actually, in the design phase, one of the issues that we had dealt with, or that we were faced with, was exactly that, was moving the power lines. The intent was to install a loading dock, which what we were expecting, that we wouldn't be utilizing hoisting. We were anticipating winching out of the truck and then winching back onto the truck. We found out later that this is probably not the best solution, but with a body job truck, like with a regular 3-ton bin, the power lines weren't going to be as much of an issue as they would be with a larger truck. So that's where we got into the interference issues with those power lines. We've actually got and have approved raising of those power lines within budget. So we'll be raising those power lines by approximately 4 meters to avoid all that interference. So that's not going to be an issue anymore. We didn't want to take care of a lot of this stuff during the phase of construction due to the fact that contractor at the time was giving us prices that we were not comfortable with. For the almost the exact same process that we're talking about here today, the price tag was going to be around $55,000. What we're talking about here today is approximately $22,000, so there's approximately a $30,000 savings by doing it post-construction, post-commissioning.
Okay. One of the other things that was said is you didn't know how much biosolids we were going to produce.
Well, not exact figure, and
Well, I mean,
if I can
an
speak,
approximation even close would have been good, right?
yeah, we probably had. I wasn't here during the design phase, just to get this out. As you know, I just moved here within the last year. But during the design phase, each wastewater facility runs a little different now. I'm assuming there was a number of parties that worked that designed the facility. EPCOR didn't design the facility; they worked with the committee who obviously designed it. But you can't figure out an exact number. We did have a ballpark number, but as I said, because of the different variables, the main one being we were worried about a freezing issue coming out of the facility. Now that we have made it through our first winter and we haven't had the problems, and now that we do have a place to take it that does have somewhere for us to thaw, and overall it's just a logistical solution.
Okay, so we've been taking it to Penhold for a while now.
We've been taking it to Penhold for 3 to 4 months.
And just to answer your question, Councillor Best, we always had a very close approximation as to how much biosolids we were going to produce even through the design phase. And it was kind of a balancing act, I guess, if you will, related to what size of bin to put in that area based on the slab thickness that's above that T-WAS tank. We have to be very careful structurally. We didn't want to have a structural failure inside that plant. That's why we went with a smaller bin.
Okay. My final statement is, it's nice that you talk about all the savings that we're going to get, but that being said, with this not being done all along, how much money did we overspend? If we can do this now to save this kind of money, why couldn't we have done it at the start and not spent the money to go along?
Well, I can't answer that directly. I wasn't here, but as I said, at the time there was a very strong issue with we were worried about freezing of bins, freezing of biosolids. Now that we've gone through a winter with the biosolids, we've seen it's not as much as the issue as what we thought. As I said, we did look at other options within the facility, putting a bigger bin inside, putting a smaller second auger with a second bin inside the facility with the second garage door. We looked at other options there. However, with the thickness of the concrete slab there, it just can't support the weight because there is a big tank underneath there. So logistically, this is the best option right now.
And also to answer your question, Councillor Best, when I talked to members of EPCOR, members of ACOM, members of Maple Riders through the construction phase and design phase of the project, Mr. Priestley is absolutely right in that we had talked about freezing, and one of the concerns that the mayor had talked about earlier was that freezing. When I talked to contractors that are in the transportation industry who are hauling from Canmore to Medicine Hat and Brooks area, they were coming back with half-loaded trailers because they couldn't get rid of the frozen waste. So that became a very serious concern to us, that we would be increasing our costs exponentially over time by using larger bins that would be freezing. So once we found out that we had a facility that was able to heat the bins, that portion of the design came back on the table. But I guess to answer your question, how much money have we wasted? Very, very little.
Councillor Sobel.
Just bear with me. Can you give me a percentage of how confident you guys are that this is going to work?
I'm very
on
confident.
A scale of 100%, for instance.
Are
we talking 90s or close to 100?
I'd say well into the 90s, based on personal experience at other facilities and based on other facilities within EPCOR that are hauling.
Okay.
You keep. Oh, so go ahead.
Just a question for Mr. Priestley. The town of Strathmore pays a large amount to EPCOR per year, and so this new project has sprung up and we're being charged a management fee by EPCOR. of $2,078.60. It doesn't sound like a lot, but as far as the total bill, I'm just wondering what exactly that management fee might be. And if another project springs up during the year, will we have to pay EPCOR again another management?
Let me answer that for them, but to some degree, it is in the contract, and I know that, but you know what, and I agree with you, Councillor Fuel, it just keeps, we always pay the bill that you guys made a mistake on, you know, it's always this, and this next year, something else. I mean, this plant should have been designed properly, and we have to keep on picking up the tab. We pay $4.6 million a year in operating costs, and we're getting tired of it, and so are the taxpayers. And this is a part of your community too, and I mean, I shouldn't even come down on you, Steve, but this is for upper management, you can take it back to them. We are getting tired of this. It's only $2,000, but if you can't afford to lose it, we can't afford to pay it. Look at it that way, you know? So take that off there. I don't care what the contract says. I'm tired of it, really tired of it. We get the blunt of it. Go ahead with this, I don't mind that, but cut some of your costs too. Anyway, we got it all on the table. Any further questions?
Yeah, I got one,
Yeah.
So, looking at that, price tag there, $22,864.
Correct.
Does that include moving these power lines, or what are we gonna do with them?
The power lines is additional to that.
That's on top of that yet?
No, but it's within the scope of the project, so it's being paid for through, another element of that same project, so you're not gonna see any additional cost.
So this is the total cost?
That's the total cost for this recommendation.
And according to what you just said a few minutes ago, Steve, we're gonna save, $30 a ton, right?
Approximately, yeah.
So I figured out we're gonna save about $60,000 a year.
Approximately, yeah.
I mean, it's pretty elementary, but I'm just so frustrated that these things, I mean, you guys are the engineers, and I'm not coming on you individually, Steve, but anyway, I said it. I'm very upset. So are the taxpayers. Anyway, we need a motion or recommendation, whatever you guys want to do. No further discussion.
Well, if we're gonna get this going ahead, Steve doesn't have any power to take the management fee over, and it's in the contract. And I'm not happy about it either. I've never been a big fan of the management fees. Having said that,
You could always make a motion, less the management contract and see what they do. Not a hard motion. But
there's a motion.
page, there is none, that should have been put in there. Recommended that you go with this contract.
Your Worship, I'll make that motion. I'd like to move that we go ahead with this contract for the total of $22,864.60, less the management fee.
It's called the Centrifuge Auger Extension Contract Project, right?
That's correct.
You want to add that in there?
Okay, what?
Centrifuge Auger Extension Project.
Okay.
Will that suffice?
Sure.
Thank you. Y'all heard the motion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
I know you're the guy in the chair, Steve. We're not knocking you in, but don't do the messenger, yeah.
The messenger got shot.
The messenger got shot. Yeah.
Have a great night.
You do, thank you.
Steve.
George Freeman Trail Bridge Replacement, page 45. Go ahead.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. Welcome back, Chuck.
Hi. All right, George Freeman Trail Bridge Replacement, the engineering services portion of the RFP, part of the project. As you are well aware, our George Freeman Trail Bridge is in disrepair. The structural body of the bridge is beginning to fail, as I'm sure you're probably aware. The town has assumed responsibility for the maintenance and safety of the roadway. Over time, the engineering operations team throughout Public Works Department has observed the degradation of the bridge structure to a point where the bridge will need a substantial repair to the point that a bridge replacement is warranted. In discussions with Western Irrigation District, we have determined that the best course of action would be to replace the bridge at the end of the irrigation season ending September 30, 2011, in the hope that engineering, construction, and commissioning of the bridge could be completed prior to the winter months. And so that would include pavement prior to the winter months as well. So one alternative to replace the bridge was to consider just the roadway alignment as it crosses the WID canal. This alternative does not take into consideration of the future expansion of the roadway. So what we are recommending is that the town's project steering team has determined to generate an RFP to determine the best construction methodology, with the intent being earth encased culverts similar to Park Lane Drive crossing at WID, extending east at a distance to be determined by the engineering consultant to take into consideration the twinning of George Freeman Trail, so approximately 46 meters. In that recommendation that both Jesse and myself are making is to create the partial road base above that culvert area in this part of the construction, and then landscape it, loam, grass, that sort of thing. And then once George Freeman Trail is twinned, then that loam and grass can be stripped off and the existing road would still be there. Then it could be built up again into a proper roadway, obviously without disturbing that culvert, and continue with the roadway instead of tearing the whole roadway apart again. And so, all right, back to what it was. Recommendations to ask council to award the engineering services portion of the project as tendered and closed August 2nd, yesterday, based on the department's review. Just to give you a little bit of insight into what transpired yesterday, Mr. Stanford and myself opened the tenders. We had two tenders that were open. One was from a company, since learned today, was a company out of Quebec, SEMA Plus Canada Incorporated. They've just opened up shop in Alberta in the last few years. This is an engineering company with about 50 years of engineering experience. They just went into Alberta here in the last few years, as I had said. Their cost for a full scope project, including preliminary engineering, detailed design, tender package preparation, construction supervision, and contract administration, as well as post-construction services for $42,550. We've opened another tender from MPE Engineering from Calgary. We've had previous dealings with before, and their costs for the same level of service were $97,000. I talked to EPCOR, Edmonton. SEMA Canada Incorporated has had dealings with EPCOR in Edmonton, and from what I understand, they've had success with them. I've also talked to the project manager today from SEMA Canada, and he seems like a very knowledgeable fellow. So I would recommend that we take the SEMA Plus, or the SEMA Canada engineering portion of the project and award it to them at a cost of $42,550.
Can I ask one question? This is the one that's going to canal, right?
George Freeman Trail as it crosses WID canal. No, this is also just the engineering portion of the project.
Well, what is aquatic environmental specialist got? The canal is already done.
What it is someone who can come into the area and determine whether there's fish life, fish growth, bacterial growth.
Well, come WID doesn't have to do that. It's already there.
Well, I understand that. The chances of it happening are very limited because the canal will be shut off by that time.
For $3,500, do we have to do it for $3,500?
No.
Well,
The chances are, as it also says in the tender package, that it is most likely not required. So we're anticipating that it won't be required, but I put it into the budget just in case it is.
pretty hard to find fish in a dry canal.
I totally agree, so that's why it's there, just in case.
Okay.
So, and then, if a geotechnical engineer, or a geotechnical investigation is required, there's a $10,000 addition just in case. We don't know if it's required or not, but it's gone into the budget just as a contingency.
So all of a sudden his 42,000 is up to 56,000.
Yeah.
But that
You could
13 would be
yeah.
added to the 97 as well.
But we don't know if we're gonna
If it's
spend
needed.
$13,500 worth of
Yeah.
costs.
Yeah.
Your worship, what would spur on a geotechnical investigation? What circumstances would arise that would involve?
If we weren't able to get compaction, that would probably be one of the determining factors. Once we were starting to proof-roll the area, if it was starting to deflect, or if it's starting to sink, we would probably want to get someone into a geotechnical expert to come in and do a sample hole to determine what kind of potential organics are below that clay area where we may have to dig up. Not exactly sure. The chances are it's probably not going to be required.
Especially since there's a bridge there already. And
yeah, and it's a canal that's been there for...
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Councilor Field. Or Councilor Best.
I just want to know, so on a motion on this then, are we making the motion at a cost of $42,550?
No, I'm recommending a $60,000.
Yeah.
And that's building in the contingency fund, and again, I don't know if we're going to use all that up, but it's there just in case.
Just as a point of a record, and for what it's worth, we could have done this with WID when they were fixing that canal much cheaper. Why didn't we go with it?
I can't comment
I
because
mean,
it
it
wasn't.
was much less than all these figures. All this stuff would have been never. They were willing to do it for us. I just don't understand it.
Your worship, I think they wanted to take a pass on it.
No, they said yes originally.
Yeah, and then they changed it. Yeah. I believe they changed their mind.
We could talk them into it. I know. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not done. Looking for a motion.
Your worship, I would move that council award the engineering services portion of the project as tendered and closed August the 2nd, 2011, based on the department's review to SEMA Canada at a maximum cost of $60,000.
Y'all heard the motion. There's no further questions. All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
E3 Muscular Dystrophy Awareness Month. Page 47.
Bishop, I think this is something that's befitting council to proclaim September 2011 as Muscular Dystrophy Awareness Month in the town of Strathmore, and I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Any questions? If not, all in favor? Carried. Okay, next, I'll go to 8.8. Page 87.
Worship, I've read the attachment. I'm afraid I'm not going to support paying someone to come and give us a presentation about the company. I'm not interested in paying expenses for someone to come in. I think that's a dangerous slope to go down, and I don't want to be paying tickets for expenses for someone to come and give us a presentation. They can perhaps send us some information, and if they're interested, I'd be more than willing to listen to them, but I don't think we should be footing the bill for that.
Can you comment on anything?
There was 2 or 3 companies in Kansas City that talked to us about coming out, giving a presentation. I think all of them that were there from the U.S. wanted their expenses paid. So
The reason about I was interested in this guy is that he developed a 700-acre industrial park in Kansas City, and had many good ideas as to how we could get our park going. And there's a lot of things out there that we're missing that we aren't seeing. And for $1,500 or $2,500 or whatever, maximum $2,500, I'm looking for other things to get him up here and speak to us. This guy has a lot of ideas, and if we don't start doing something, we keep turning down everything that's not doing anything. I'm really getting tired of it.
Your worship, was this the part that was underground?
That was one of them. It was he did the whole that, and he did. They're doing a surface one too. Yeah. And the things that he brought forward to the Kansas City were just mind-boggling. Any other further comments?
We're in a precarious position with that land anyway. At this point, Your Worship, I don't think that this is the time for something like this. I think we should have we have a plan for our industrial area, and it's a matter of accomplishing some of the goals that we've set for ourselves, and that is to make an effective sale first. This guy's not going to help us with the sale of this land, and until that's done,
okay.
Where are we going?
Okay. Thank you.
So I would move that we accept this correspondence from Mr. Carlson for information.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Page 891. Can we comment from administration on this, please? I don't get the justice, I'll be honest.
This is just something local that we put on to support the concept?
Yes, Your Worship. It's, the goal is to ensure all Albertans have access to a wide range of cultural experiences. And it is it's 3 days from September 30th to October 2nd. And then it would be just hosting an Alberta Arts Day event. So we would talk to schools, libraries, community groups, recreation and cultural facilities, art organizations, maybe the museum committee, local talent, to see if they wanted to maybe get together and provide us with 3 days of cultural experiences.
So what would it cost us?
I don't think they supply any money.
Anybody know?
Could we provide some additional information to council just through?
When does this have to be done by?
Give us
So September 30th to October 2nd is when it's encouraged to take place. Is this something we could accept as information and pass it on to a local arts group, like is it the Hope Bridges? That we could pass this on to, or the arts people?
I would like that.
to a number of the organizations.
Yeah.
With our new our proposed cultural coordinator, I think that this would be a project that they might be able to grab onto. But I just really don't think we have the staff to coordinate something like this.
It's a great idea, but again, at the end of the day, we pay.
Your Worship, I would move that we accept the Alberta Art Days correspondence as information.
If you want to move to recommend to move to.
with,
Could I make a friendly amendment in that we pass the information on to the local arts group or groups?
Okay. You happy with that?
yeah, absolutely.
All in favor? Carried. Administration, we have nothing, committee in. 8:10. All right, Carried. Eight-10 is a street sweeping contract on page, what is it?
19, Your Worship, of the second package.
Yes, yeah.
Welcome back.
Can't get rid of it. All right, this is, I think everyone's aware of the background of the situation regarding street sweeping. Just moving ahead, obviously, B&M grader and sweeper services have been retained by the town to do the sweeping in town for 2011. What we would recommend is that B&M grader and sweeper services be retained for the balance of the year for 2011 for a total of $14,000 to complete the fall cleanup with an additional bi-weekly cost of $750. I think that should be actually $725. Yes, sorry, $725 bi-weekly to clean downtown, industrial areas, and one major artery on a rotating bi-weekly basis, as per the previous schedule with town. I'm not sure if you've got a copy of the schedule. Sorry. Yeah, so it would be on a rotating basis that it would be done, so $14,000 plus an additional $725 for a total cost for the balance of 2011 for $17,625.
So the gist of it, we're not just talking about the future.
Future years, Mr. Curley has submitted costs for 2012 and 2013. But from what I understand, they want to, our council is recommending that we tender that again.
I think we must, we gotta.
Okay. It doesn't quite meet that benchmark for services on the over purchasing connection, $75,000. But I think it's negotiating in good faith with other contractors to do that. Mr. Curley's costs for 2012 and 2013 would be $40,500 per year. And that's spring cleanup, fall cleanup, with the additional sweeping.
I think we should deal with those two later on.
I totally agree. I'm just giving that information.
Any questions from council? Go ahead, Administrator.
Just a couple of comments on it. Bill Crilly, through his company, have done a very fine job. They've been very helpful. He gets out there, we call him, he jumps and runs. Like I phoned him up just a few days before today, said, can you be out there at midnight to clean the streets down by the fire hall because of the debris from the fireworks? He said, you betcha. So he went out there at 12:30 or 1 to clean the street. He does a super job. The only tough part is we have to tender it. So anyway, even though he's doing a great job.
Councilor Betts.
Your Worship, I think with the debacle that we went through shortly, not too long ago, that to have someone who actually knows the town and what they're doing here in the town is to pay a little more is certainly a comfort to us and the people of our town.
There's no further comments? Liquor motion?
Your Worship, could I just find out what our total cost for 2011 will be for street sweeping? Was there a cost to the initial company?
For the spring sweep, I don't have that number in front of me, but I think it was very close. It was done by time and material, so it wasn't done.
That's Mr. Curley's street sweeping you're talking
There was no other cost to the other one.
But from what I understand, it was done on time and material basis. So, but I'm not exactly
So
sure.
he's asking about the original guy.
Oh, the original
the
guy?
questions?
It was very low, it was like 22,000.
22,000.
No, but did we pay anything to him?
I think we paid him.
I never signed no checks for him.
I think we had to put together one invoice for mobilization or something, but it wasn't very much. It was, I don't think it was even $2,000. It was.
I don't recall no checks.
We're gonna have to go back through our records to get that information.
I hardly recall the check, so I don't know. Maybe
Thank
it
you.
was.
I'm not sure. Sorry, I misunderstood the question.
No, well, actually, you didn't. Actually, I had two. That was fine. Thank you.
Any further questions?
Yeah, just one, your worship. So whatever motion we make, it has to be just to fulfill the obligations of the 2011 street sweeping year?
Correct. Just to retain Mr. Curley and his services from 2011 season.
We don't even have to comment on the other two, do we? No. Okay.
Your worship, I move that we would retain B&M grader and sweeper services for the balance of the 2011 year for street sweeping.
Y'all heard the motion. If there are no further questions, all in favor? Carried. Now, Chuck. Thank you, Chuck. You can go. Committee and departmental reports, page 101.
Okay, the first item, your worship, under economic development. During Heritage Days, we had the opportunity of having Brett Wilson come to our booth. He spent probably 3 hours there with us, and we had the opportunity, some of us, to talk to him quite a bit about his goals and what he wants to do. So I'm pleased about that. That's come along good. The other opportunity during Heritage Days is going out to Cancorp. They had an open house and a pancake breakfast. And I took the opportunity to go out there later in the morning, and I visited with the Cancorp people on their plans, and they are quite optimistic how things are coming along out there. And they plan on building several more units.
In the economic development, and it's maybe part of it is that although we are commented about this one developer wanting to put in many units, I also asked council that we've got to encourage development as much as we've got to be very restrictive as to what we're doing with them. We still should encourage them to come forward with their proposals, and administration the same way, you know, because we need this to happen, and we want this town to go forward. We're stagnant right now. We've got to encourage development, and it's like the Golden Mile in Airdrie. If there's many people having different homes to come out to, as in cars up on the Golden Mile, then people will come out to Strathmore. Is my thoughts. You know, am I wrong in that thinking? You need a lot of choices. One choice isn't enough. You know, so we've got to encourage development, and also, pardon me.
Sure, go ahead.
Our friend, can't think to the west here, he finally installed his parks. I see here, getting them completed. I want to commend him. Al Bertram. He did a nice job with that one little park. He's got some swings in there, and the one that I encourage council to go take a look, and he's putting in the second one also.
Okay.
Yeah. So we should encourage the guys that are doing the work that we asked them to do. Anything else, please? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine. Now, things are looking for improvement. We've got to figure out some more ways how we can get people out here. And even if they can get them out to look. Heritage Days, for example, is a big benefit to the town. Not only because of the people that come and buy gas and so on. When people are out here, they look around, they look for opportunities, investments, housing, moving here sometime. And I think we had about 50,000 that came through the gates. That's pretty high. That's a lot of people coming into our community. So it's a major benefit to us. And I know people were driving all over looking around. And hopefully for next year, we have a bunch of show homes in various places, have signs up, get them directed so they can take a look.
They spent we took a study there about 8 years ago, and I just want to mention it just for the benefit of the council, that the average person of the 50,000 people, every man, woman, and child, they calculated spends $300 a day times 5 days. So when you do the numbers there, big money, you know, that they drop back into the community, whether it be gas or food or so on and so forth, you know. Anyway, thank you very much. Any questions about Councillor Fuel, Municipal Library Board?
No meeting this month, Your Worship.
Councillor Blockman.
Your Worship, no meetings.
And again, Councillor Best.
There was no meetings this month.
WFCSS, Councillor Rempel, Councillor Best.
Again, there was no meetings this month, and we will be meeting, I believe, at the end of the month.
We've done Housing Board, Councillor.
There was no meeting this month, but there was a barbecue held at the Wheatland Lodge, which was very well attended by family and friends of the people living there. It was very well done, the volunteers, the staff, the committee did a lot of work on it, and I wanted to commend them for that. So that's it.
Did you go?
I did, I went. I checked out some rooms in case you're looking.
You gotta quit going, that's why you're putting on the weight.
Oh. I had salad, okay, I had salad.
Andy Bus Association, Councillor Blockman.
Andy Bus Association, Worship, 3 meetings postponed. Back to back to back.
Councillor Hamel is not here. Agricultural Society, Councillor Fuel.
Your Worship, I spoke to Darcy Ledeen today at the offices, and he basically said the only thing that he felt should be reported was that it was the Heritage Day Stampede was a huge success, and he was very happy. Staff and volunteers did their usual great job.
Thank you. Family Center Advisory Committee, Councillor Sobel.
There was no meeting in July, Your Worship.
Community Futures, Wild Rose, Councillor Best.
Your Worship, there was no meeting, however, they did have a barbecue that was well attended.
And did you attend?
I did.
Good. Communities in Bloom, not here. Names Advisory Committee.
Your Worship, on Communities in Bloom, I never brought the information in, but they're coming out to do their annual judging, and they've asked you and me to meet them here at 9 o'clock on a certain date, next Tuesday, I believe. And anyway, they're very happy with the parks, the job that's been done, and they're hoping to get the 5, what are they, Blues? Okay?
I must say that the town staff has done a tremendous job in the parks. Tremendous job.
Yep, absolutely.
Communities and Names Advisory Committee, Councillor Best.
There was no meeting this month, but there was an online survey as to one name.
Bull River Council, Councillor Blockman.
Your Worship, my name should not be on there. I believe
That's
Councillor
right.
Hamilton should be looking at that one.
Right.
Can we make note of that, please? United Way, Councillor Blockman.
Your Worship, there was no meeting in July.
Calgary Regional Planning, no meetings. SWAT, Councillor Sobel.
No meeting in July, Your Worship.
Citizens on Patrol, Councillor Hamill's not here. Sentinel Day and Tank Capture Committee, Councillor Sobel.
First, I would just request a change from Councillor Hamilton on that committee to Councillor Blockman. The Centennial Committee is now being tasked with prepping for a contest that would have our new history book, which is presently being written, named. It'll be we want to get some public input for the book, so the committee is working on a contest that's going to deal with that. In regards to the Centennial Gala Subcommittee, which is also part of the Centennial Day Committee, we're continuing to work on the October 15th Gala. Tickets should be going on sale right around the 12th of August, we anticipate. And there'll be a whole lot more information coming in the near future. Of course, if I haven't mentioned before, the Lieutenant Governor has confirmed that he will be attending this function.
How much are tickets?
They're $75 each.
Thank you. Yes.
Maybe Councillor Sugg will talk a little bit more about the history book, how it's coming, and the schedule and all.
Ooh, sure. Thanks, Dwight. The history book, we of course, with council's approval, have an author hired. and he is busily working. He's a teacher by the name of Paul Sonsby, and he's busily working during his summer to get this completed. We have a publisher that has been hired, and they require roughly 4.5 months to get this book into production. It appears questionable as to whether or not we're going to be able to get that book out by the end of 2011. More realistically, I think it's going to be within the first couple of months of 2012, and I really don't think that's a big deal. Our focus is to make sure that the book is a quality product. It's going to be more of a coffee book. We've been in very close dealing with Paul, and I think I'm really looking forward to seeing this book. I think it's going to be very interesting. There's some very interesting information that he's found about the history of Strathmore, some very cute anecdotes, and it's going to be a light book, but something that I think that everybody's going to enjoy reading. So we're really looking forward to this project.
And Your Worship, I think it's important that we have the gala in there and some other events. So I'm happy it's going to be later on so that we can get the gala in and pictures and so on.
Yeah.
Very good. Museum Committee, Councillor Fuel.
There was no meeting in July, Your Worship.
Councillor Sobel, Recreation Foundation.
There was no meeting for the SGC group.
Yes, Hope Bridges, Councillor Sobel.
There was a meeting on July 11th for the Hope Bridges, and we reviewed the feasibility study and determined the logistics and needs of an art center, and it's now gone back to the group for some determination, some ideas, some further ideas.
Thank you. Somebody move. Today, no meeting accepted.
I'll move that reports from council members regarding various committees on which they sit be receive this information.
All in favor? Carried. Page 105. NWMSA.
Your Worship, I wonder if we could accept this for information. I move that and invite, of course, any councillors that wish to attend to deal directly with the A&W crowd on this. I've already advised them that I will be attending.
You all heard the motion? All in favor? Dairy Queen Miracle Tuesday, page 109.
Worship, I make that similar motion for this, and once again, this is always a fun time, and if anybody enjoys making blizzards, this is the place to go.
Any comments?
Councillor Fuel, you'll be attending, I think.
Yes. I'm eating the low-cal, low-fat blizzard, and I hate you for turning on me like that.
We're hard on you, eh? Rightly so. Oh, a 98-year-old grandmother could comment, we can't. You all heard the motion? All in favor? Page 111. Donation to Slave Lake. Again, we can go as a choice, is that? There's information. What's council thoughts?
Just a question, Your Worship. If we take alternative one where we provide administration, is that going to be a funding situation, or are we buying something to put in the silent auction? That seems to be part of it.
What would you recommend, administration? What would you like?
I recommend that we take one or two items that we have and donate to it.
Is this the thing we've done in the past as far as other communities? If a disaster is struck, have we done donations like that in the past?
To me, this is the most serious ones.
Would you recommend that a councillor or a mayor or some or administration go, or how do you want it?
I like the idea of a couple of, do we have a couple of nice items that we
Yep.
can donate
Yep.
through the chair to Dwight?
Yep.
Your worship, then I would move that we direct administration to donate 2 items to the silent auction to be held at Calgary Chinese Cultural Center on August 13th, 2011, to ensure that funds go to the Canada Red Cross Slave Lake Relief Fund.
You want somebody to go, or?
I was just going to say, ask about a friendly amendment to that to add that if anyone would like to go, that they advise administration.
Okay, all heard the motion. Are you happy with that? All in favor? Carried. Charity golf tournament.
Your worship, I move that we accept this invitation as information only.
Councillor Best?
Yeah, I just, is this the one where they're asking us to host?
Yep.
I'm very, like we talked about bringing people to our town to come and see our town. This gives us a great opportunity to do that. It would be bringing people from around the province to us to utilize our golf course and while they're here, as Dwight was saying earlier, drive our town and have a view of our town. I would like to get more information on this rather than just accept it as information. And that administration could, if they could do that and then bring it back to us to see if it is feasible.
When is it?
Yeah, question, your worship, isn't this just that they would feature us, they would just feature us as the designated town for the tournament at their location?
No. We host it.
We host it.
Yes.
Well, I asked the administration to check what's cost. They were, what the cost, did you find out, did I chance with it? So what's the cost then?
Your worship, if you go through this, there's a lot of stuff to be done on this.
Yeah.
And we have to supply a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know if there's a figure on this, but there's a great deal of work involved with this, and I mean, if one of the councillors is prepared to take this on as a project, I don't see us dumping this on. I mean, maybe perhaps a committee might be able to do this, but this is a very work-intensive project.
And it does say at the church.
Worship, this is not even down here.
Yeah, no, it's not here in Strathmore. It would be that we would host various little competitions at holes and things, and we would be the featured community at their tournament.
At their tournament, yeah.
Yeah, and so if we took this on, then we would be responsible for running a few things at different tee boxes, running little competitions like Beat the Mayor's Drive, and they would feature our town almost as a way of advertising our town at their tournament. So maybe,
Shadow Lake Louise, okay.
Yeah.
Your worship, I'm going to make a motion that council accept this invitation from the
motion played already?
Oh, sorry.
Was it not?
Yes. As information.
As information, yeah.
Okay.
So, all in favor of this motion?
Your worship, is there a chance to just get that motion read back to me?
Yeah.
I move that this invitation be received as information.
You happy with that?
I sure am.
Good. All in favor? Carried, opposed? 1. We're not on the committee home after this, are we? We don't need one. Thank you, press, for all your time. Doing a good job.
Your worship, we are missing one item, item 12.5.
I hate these amendments, sorry.
Yeah, me too.
I'm sorry, yes, we have one more item. 12.5.
Your worship, this is a request to support a Canadian athlete in the 3D competitive archery tournament, which is being held in Austria this year, from September 1st to September 3rd. And she has been chosen to represent Canada in the championships. And she is just making requests for municipalities in Alberta to support her in the cost.
Is our name going to be mentioned somewhere?
She would be bringing a report back to council on the results and her experience, etc.
So that when we're over there, is our name going to be up on some sort of board saying that we made a donation?
Do we know where this young lady's from?
I know nothing.
She is from the Cochrane area. She used to live in the Strathmore area.
Comments, council?
Your Worship, I guess I'm a little, I'm confused. I'm wondering how many other towns have supported her, and I'm not sure how much we would do, and I'm a little bit worried about setting a precedent supporting athletes from throughout the province for other things they might go to as well, and it could go on and on. I know this is the World Championships, but there could be other people from other towns in Alberta that are going to be soliciting funds for national championships or international competitions. I'm not so sure about this one. If it was a Strathmore resident, I would see it totally different.
Any further comments?
Hearing none, Your Worship, I would move that we accept the correspondence from Ms. Tracy Cleddy as information.
You all heard the motion. Any further questions or comments? If not, all in favor? Thank you. Now, we have adjournment, I suppose.
I move to adjourn.
All in favor? Very good.
So I didn't get back to